they'll be hoping, you know, for that kind of miracle. But if he is short of fitness, it's going to be very difficult for him. However much talent he's got there, that's not the place today, is it, if you're not feeling 100%?
Well, we had 13 goals on the corresponding Sunday last year, didn't we? I don't think we'll get 13 today. We've had 2 0-0s between these two sides in the league. Is it likely to be a very tight one goal, or
I don't think so. I think we've got a chance of seeing some goals today.
Yeah. Well, that's nice.
At Villa Park.
No, here. I think, as I say, with Arsenal maybe playing a little bit of a dangerous offside game, and of course Tottenham pushing forward and Arsenal hitting on the break, which they do marvellously well.
Bit more space here. We just had a glimpse of the pitch there, and we'll be seeing a lot more of it. I was up here on Tuesday, and the pitch looked pretty terrible after that American football match, but they seem to have done a wonderful job in just a few days. Look at that. It looks immaculate from this distance anyway.
Well, I'll tell you what, Des, I played in a couple of semi-finals, and you wouldn't get a better pitch than that at Villa Park or Hillsborough or Stamford Bridge.
No, that's true.
It's interesting when after the horses, so many years ago, it took them years to get Wembley right, and now they can do it within the space, with modern technology, within the space of a week, it seems. Quite astonishing.
And compliments to the ground staff here for doing such a good job, because it's a busy place, this, isn't it? There's something going on here every few days now. What's it like for players playing at this time of day, do you think, Glenn? They're not used to playing at midday, are they?
Yeah, it's a little bit strange. We're obviously used to a 3 o'clock kick-off or a night game, which always adds to the atmosphere. I think, you know, the atmosphere today in the crowd, you expect it to be a little bit more louder than it has been. I think that's a reflection on the kick-off time, yeah.
Obviously going to be short of sleep, what with the Masters golf at night, which we daren't leave, and they're the same. The boys won't be missing that if they golf it early up in the morning, really, to come here.
It's a bad day if you don't like sport, isn't it?
It's a lovely...
2 semi-finals in the Masters with Woosnam in the lead.
It's a lovely day if you do.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a sellout, of course. It was the right place to put this match on, Jim, wasn't it? Nowhere else possible. Stamford Bridge crowd limitation wouldn't
Yes, we've seen lots of squabbles go on at the top in football, and lots of the officials are accused of making the wrong decisions and decisions that lack common sense. This was the common sense one. They made it quickly, and the matter was finished. Absolutely logical. It is a super stadium now. I mean, it reminds you more like the American stadium, of people beforehand having a chance to buy hot dogs or what you will, and not in any sense of rush to get in, being here an hour or so before the game. Good for business, of course, for the stadium and for football clubs. If they get people there early, they make money too.
OK, here come the teams. Just before we head out over to our commentary team, just what do you think, Glenn? What do you think will happen in this?
Well, obviously, I'm hoping for a Spurs win, being a Spurs man, but Arsenal are so organised. I've got a feeling it's going to go to a replay. I really do. But I agree with Liam. I think we can see some goals.
We ought to remind our viewers that there will be extra time if it's level at full time here today. So you think a replay, and what do you think, Liam?
Well, I think Arsenal, but I fear Tottenham might get a goal. But I hope Arsenal get 2.
Jim?
If that man there is fit, Spurs have a chance. If he's not, I love that phrase. If he's not, then I think Arsenal will do it and be worthy favourites.
OK, time then to join our commentary team, Trevor Brooking and Barry Davis.
Tremendous reception for the two teams, for a contest of pride and not a little prejudice. A private argument of North London with overtones of doubles and finance to be played out before a world audience. The match is being watched on television in over 30 countries. Positive selections by the two managers. David Howells was out for 10 games before he came back against Norwich in midweek. Paul Gascoigne, with the stomach operation, missed only 5. The unlucky man, I suppose, is the Moroccan Naeem. Vinny Samways getting the midfield place. Naeem joining Paul Walsh on the substitutes bench. If George Graham thought about a third central defender, David O'Leary, in the end, he decided not to include him. David is on the substitutes bench with Perry Groves. Instead, Graham sticks to his wide men, Merson and Limpar, in Arsenal's attacking formation. Well, for just a brief time, this gentleman, Terry Venables, can put money and takeover bids out of his mind and concentrate on football. I'm sure he'll enjoy that. This man has been concentrating on football all season, and his side battling on two major fronts. The referee, it's his fourth semi-final, Ray Lewis, from slightly unfortunately named place for a referee, Great Bookham. He's in fact from the Surrey FA. Roy Pardo and Rob Harris are his two linesmen, and the reserve referee is Gerald Ashby from Worcestershire. Big day for this young man, Tanaya Norman, 9 years old, just being ushered away after being presented to the two captains, and his opposite number is an 11-year-old Barry Ayres. And neither knew until today that they would have a part in the proceedings. Tony Adams looking very relaxed as the teams came out before the start. Capacity crowd, of course, of 80,000, and worth noting, I think, that the Football Association issued 2,000 complimentary tickets to the armed forces. A gesture of thanks from football for their combined efforts in the Gulf. It's not a good place from which to watch the match, believe me. It amazes me how managers can see anything from down there. The England manager usually goes up top, but Terry Venables is one of those who likes to be close to his players, although even that is slightly denied these two great friends. It's quite a long way back. Bits of confetti, it would seem, all over the pitch. Just bits of paper. It's a pretty raw day. Not exactly a day of Browning Oterby in England now that April's there. It's a touch of winter about it. First feel of the ball, and then a second feel of the ball for the Norwegian, Erik Torstvedt. And the wind was against the kick. The header was by Limpar. Vanden Hauwe, and the free kick is in his favour. Vanden Hauwe, who wears number 3, playing at right back, with Justin Edinburgh wearing 2 on the left side. A position that he's really made his own, Edinburgh, in this cup run. First touch for that fellow whose name I can't remember for a moment. Wasn't the friendliest of balls from a colleague that Winterburn was given. Stewart, whose brother was hoping to have ensured a place here at Wembley for Witton Albion, but he's got to wait for the replay. Challenged by Samways. Swede, who's down. Steve Bold joining Smith and Campbell forward. Tony Adams arriving a little later. Out by Mabbott, a little bit short. And Lineker with 2 defenders around him. And the ball had gone out before it hit Lineker, apparently. Howes had made a forward run, number 5. Nobody seemed to notice him. Chase over for Paul Allen. Gascoigne is in the area. So now is the ball. Howes coming in. And Gascoigne complaining. Looked to see whether the linesman's flag was up, but in fact I think that was a verdict of the referee. So, first thoughts from Trevor Brooking.
Well, tactically, I think perhaps George Graham's selection was based on the belief that Gary Lineker would play up by himself, and that is the case. So that's the reason I think he's gone for the flat back four. And from Spurs' selection point of view, filling up a five-man midfield, Paul Stewart more the anchor man, Paul Gascoigne given quite a free role. The one slight tactical switch Terry Venables has made is in fact David Howe playing on the left side of midfield, almost pushing up on Lee Dixon, who likes to get forward, and that be, I think, something he's going to keep an eye on, Dixon's forward runs.
Howes is now forward of Edinburgh. It's nicely done. Allen challenged just in time. Gascoigne is offside. Flag is up. Gascoigne was offside. But I think the referee is in fact just going to give the goal kick. Gascoigne wanted a corner, but there was just a moment then when Allen thought he might be at the races. It was Adams who got the challenge in. It was a very important one.
You can see the problems caused if Spurs players run deep from midfield. It will combat the idea that Arsenal like to play a flat back four, a push up for offside. But if you get people running from deep situations like that, there are going to be occasions where they will break that offside tactic down.
Stewart, Adams flying through the air. Won by Lee Dixon. Second time. Allen. The early attacking ideas coming from Tottenham. First time Gascoigne's been able to dwell on the ball, faced then by Paul Davis. Tottenham seem to be finding quite a lot of space. But that wasn't the best of passes. But the challenge was a little late on Stewart, which may have been the reason. And the free kick is just left of centre. Gascoigne, whose free kick Stewart met against Blackpool, started the Tottenham scoring, and he scored in every round after that. Made the first and involved in everything since. Mabbutt has gone forward with Stewart to the right, Lineker and Howes to the left. Is Gascoigne going to have a crack? He is, you know. Oh, I say! Brilliant! That is schoolboy's own stuff. Oh, I bet even he can't believe it. Is there anything left from this man to surprise us? That was one of the finest free kicks that this stadium has ever seen. Seaman got his hands, couldn't hold. Spurs have the lead. Paul Gascoigne, the scorer.
Well, what an opening to the semi-final. I mean, it was 35 yards out, and I thought when he ran up and he appeared to be shooting, I thought that's a bit optimistic from that range, but he hit it superbly. I still think David Seaman will be a bit disappointed because he got a hand to it, and you feel a goalkeeper of his class having from that distance and getting the hand to it, should have pushed it out. But all credit to that man, Paul Gascoigne, he's done it again.
The goal in the 5th minute. David Seaman, what Lineker's trying to point to. I think he wants it to go the other way to Howes. He does for the flick on. Lineker. Well, it was certainly hit. I wonder if it surprised him as much as it surprised us from that distance. But you're quite right, Trevor. He did get his hand to it. He did get across to it, but it was so well struck. David Seaman in the same end where he didn't have the best of moments playing against the Republic of Ireland. But he's got to put that out of his mind. And at the risk of upsetting all the Arsenal fans, for the neutral, it's probably what the game needed, an early goal by Tottenham.
That's right, that man Gascoigne again. But the goal, it's interesting if you see the replay there. David Seaman goes for it, but with his right arm, which is the one furthest away. Most goalkeeping coaches will tell you should go with it with the near arm, which should have been his left. But not that I used to be a goalkeeper.
And he's not alone in that. I've seen Neville Southall and company do it. Torsbet changes his mind, and he's nicely placed in the end. Just a little bit of push and shove between Stewart and Adams, which is all rather silly. Referee wants to talk to both, and he's right. Stewart immediately offers his handshake, which seemed to be declined. One man in charge, although Adams seems to want to make the point and is rather more upset about it, it would appear, than Stewart, who was the first one to open his mouth. Bold. Yes, quite right. Edinburgh, the challenge from behind, and he arrived into the pack. Justin Edinburgh came from Southend United in the summer after a loan spell. Moment to concentrate even more, and your side is in front. Doesn't want to do too much of that to the teeth. It doesn't help the enamel. Paul Allen, and the challenge there was a little bit late. Limpar and Vanden Hauwe, and suddenly the referee is needing eyes in more than the usual place in his anatomy. Supporters just pointing out to the Arsenal supporters that they've gone a little quiet, but one can understand why they have. Howells certainly pushing well up on Lee Dixon, which will limit his attacking abilities. And again the challenge was a little bit venomous and a little bit poorly timed. Stewart enjoyed playing in midfield. Stewart, nice little touch from Gascoigne. Allen was onside, plenty forward. Mabbott trying to get there. Smith, it's gone in. Lineker got the final touch. Alan Smith was back in his own 6-yard area, but that was the flick that did it. There, put Allen away. Howells was forward, Mabbott was forward, Smith was back, Lineker with a little stub toe. Tottenham are 2 up.
A magnificent move between Paul Gascoigne and Paul Allen out on the right, completely opened up the Arsenal flank. Good cross from Allen. Just bounced off Alan Smith, and there was Gary Lineker to poach it in. And at the moment, Arsenal's defence are getting stretched and pulled all apart, and that man Paul Gascoigne has had a devastating opening 10 minutes, and Arsenal have just somehow got to compose themselves.
There's the Swede, Limpar. Gary Lineker, goal number 18. But it was that pass that made it. Looking down from behind David Seaman's goal. Smith, it came off his chest, he was trying to get there, and you don't need to give Lineker even half an opportunity. But this man scored one, made one. It's not a bad contribution in the first 10 minutes, really back, because he was warming his way into it at Norwich.
You can see him there, he's ran right over to the left wing, and he's pulling his marker, Michael Thomas, all over the place, which is leaving Arsenal completely unbalanced, and they've got a back four just marking Gary Lineker, and because Thomas is being pulled to mark Gascoigne, they're short in the midfield, and at the moment, that's tactically where Spurs are winning it.
And a little indicative, Trevor, that Alan Smith felt the need to be back there because he could see they were going to get outnumbered.
I think somehow, when usually they're most effective, this man Lee Dixon and also Nigel Winterburn, the left-back, they do push forward and like to make forward runs, whereas at the moment, there he is giving that ball away, Lee Dixon. They're all at sea with their distribution.
Well, in the marvellous season they've had to date, Arsenal, their fans must be remembering one of their only 2 previous defeats, the one in the League Cup competition when Manchester United scored 6. We're certainly going to find out a great deal about Arsenal now. Paul Merson hasn't been in the game yet, but he's not alone in that. We haven't seen Campbell. The only time we've seen Smith was in defence a few minutes ago, and we probably would wish we hadn't seen him. And the midfield has been non-existent in terms of producing anything. On by Bold. And a free kick backing in by Smith. He's involved in everything, is Gascoigne, much to the chagrin of George Graham. It's not the sort of thing you expect to happen to you before lunchtime on a Sunday.
Well, they've had such an excellent run in recent weeks when they surged to the top of the table, Arsenal. If anyone can come back from conceding 2 goals in the opening quarter of an hour, it is this Arsenal team, because they are very resilient, got a lot of character, but it is going to stretch them, giving away 2 such excellent goals from the Spurs side.
Lineker. Allen. It's a bit too long, the cross, but he got away from Winterburn. And Dixon sorting out the bounce. Merson. Paul Davis. Strong challenge by Sedgley. Adams. Essentially slipped a bit. Gascoigne peels for the throw. Well, times would you feel he wastes some of his energy, but how can you change him when he scores goals and makes goals like he has here? The answer is you shouldn't try. Free kick in some ways. Merson on the right. He's never going to get past Howes like that. Edinburgh. Samways. Edinburgh. Oh! Dear. Dear. Well, if Dixon has had a worse time tackle this season, I'm glad I didn't see it.
Well, it was a very awkward tackle, wasn't it? There was no way he was going to get the ball. Just at the moment, just shows the frustration the Arsenal team is showing. And as I said, they've got to regain their composure and get back to playing the sort of possession football and the patient game that has got them to the top of the table in the semi-final here today.
Mr. Lewis wants it nearer the corner. Settle for that. Yellow card is shown to Lee Dixon, and Mr. Lewis quite right. Dear, dear, that really was an awful tackle for an international fullback, and I can only say that he's lost his composure.
I mean, he wasn't even in a dangerous situation out wide. A minute ago, his very bad tackle got warned, and he must have known similar tackle like that has ended up quite rightly in the book.
And I think there was a second booking while we were looking at that to Campbell for a few words said. Kevin Campbell. Two goals down, two bookings down. It is not going right at all for Arsenal at the moment. That's a free kick by Howells. And then Stewart came in. I don't know whether the whistle had gone, I think it had. Well, Stewart's got his feathers ruffled early. This is a foul here, quite clearly by David Howells. The referee, I think, had blown the whistle. And in the follow-up, then comes Stewart and tries to play straight through Davis. We've had just over 18 minutes of this contest. 3 bookings, but on the positive side, 2 fine goals, both for Spurs. Gascoigne after 5 minutes, Lineker after 10. Tottenham's England connection, giving them a fine start. Davis, Winterburn, Limpar, immediately Van den Houw to him. Gascoigne is the extra man. Didn't exactly play that by the book, Tottenham, but they won the ball. Many people might have felt that Gascoigne was too close and not covering his fullback, but he got the ball. Harry Groves with a lot to say there. Howells had an interesting start to the game. Howells. Stewart full of confidence. Samways. And the flag is up. David Howells, who was out with first a broken jaw, and then he had a knee problem. Seaman is going to take the kick. Smith wins in the air. Campbell, it's the first time that combination has worked. Limpar, and he got in a clean shot. Very easy to say from up here, but how close was he to hitting it first time? It would have worried the Norwegian goalkeeper rather more, I suspect, if he had. Dixon. Smith. 2 wins in the air. Free kick. Just a lean in that caused the slip. On the day that needs a bit of warmth is now finding the sun has arrived. The Arsenal fans reacting. Lineker. And again. Allen. Offside. Paul Allen hardly seems 11 years ago since he became the youngest player to play in a Wembley Cup final. 17 years and 256 days. The man alongside me was playing that day too.
Yes, Paul Allen always remembered for that late on in the match when he was clean through and Willie Young just brought him down. It was the first time I can remember the old professional foul getting its first mention.
No doubt that in the modern climate, Mr. Young would have departed.